Live from Columbia, this is Sports Talk on the South Carolina Radio Network. Be a part of tonight's show. Call us at 800-956-7266 or email talkback@sportstalksc.com. Now, here are your hosts for Sports Talk, Phil Kornbluth, Kevin McCrary, and Tom Hayes.
It's just crazy, just surreal. Words can't really describe the feelings and the emotions. You're so much involved in what you're doing when you're on the golf course, and then obviously you do something special, and it still doesn't sink in, quite what you've achieved.
Ultimately, you just have to have your A game with every single part. Have those on swings as show on the back nine.
Well, we say goodbye to the Masters for another year. We say goodbye to football for a few months. We say hello to college baseball now. Kind of sink our teeth in the NASCAR. The Heritage this week down at Harbortown. Do kind of take a little bit of a step back this week now that we've moved on from those other big events, but there are still plenty of important things to talk about here. For example, will the Braves win more games than the Lakers did this year? What do you think?
Yes, they play a lot more games, so yeah, they will win more than the Lakers.
But it is interesting, the psyche of a baseball team that's trying to build in that the National League, in their infinite wisdom, schedules them the first 7 games with the Nationals and St. Louis Cardinals. That's a great way to build confidence.
And I do want to point out, just for the record, 2 of the Lakers' very few wins. One was against the Celtics, and one was against Golden State. So, they made their wins count.
Many years ago,
they made their wins count.
When Kobe, whenever he announced his planned retirement, I said
was this year.
My wish was that his last shot against the Celtics in his career would be a brick. Sure enough, it was.
He scored 35 last night.
Absolute brick. Anyway, busy weekend with baseball. Had a chance to see South Carolina win 2 of the 3 games they won against Tennessee. Saw Friday night and saw Sunday. Yesterday was a great game. Went to Clemson for the spring game. Came back, went to USC for the spring game. So we've got thoughts on that. Pro watched it all as well. He'll have thoughts on that too. Plus, we'll hear from the head coaches. Will Muschamp and Dabo Sweeney, and Chad Holbrook will join us as well at 7:10 to talk about things from his team standpoint. The game tomorrow night, USC at North Carolina, because of the threat of bad weather in Charlotte tomorrow night, they've postponed that game until Wednesday night at 7 o'clock at the Knight Stadium. So if you're planning on going, everything's still the same, tickets still good, et cetera, et cetera. Just don't go tomorrow. You'll be there by yourself, and you'll probably be wet. But Wednesday, you are certainly welcome to be there. Want to hear from you, too, as we open up the phone lines, get your thoughts about the spring games. 800-956-7266 is the number. Email talkback@sportstalksc.com and on Twitter at sportstalksc. I think it was a good day for all at USC and Clemson. Between the two, they filled up a stadium, about 83,000. If you add the announced attendance for the two, Clemson announced 50,500. USC announced about 33,000. So
I've been at Clemson before when I've actually heard them had the conversation where they said, how many people were here today? And a guy asked, how many were in Columbia? How many did they announce in Columbia?
Now, was that an official asking that question or just?
Oh, it was an official. Yeah, it was an official. But I mean, Clemson had a legit 50,000, or they had a bunch in the stands there. It wasn't close this year. South Carolina had a nice crowd, but it looked like there was a lot more.
right, we're back. Sports Talk, South Carolina Radio Network, 800-956-7266, the number. All three in place tonight. Phil Kornblut, Kevin McCrary, the professor, Tom Hayes, Larkin Belton behind the controls once again. Lines are open if you want to join in here early on. We get busy as we move forward. At the bottom of the hour, who's got a coin on them? Anybody got a nickel?
I only carry around paper money.
Bro, you got a nickel? Yeah, okay. Call it. Heads, it's Muschamp. Tails, it's Sweeney first. Who's got it? I guess I've already said it. So it's tails.
Spurs down.
So we will.
Thank you.
Yeah. Muschamp at 6:30 and Sweeney at 7:30.
Oh, Muschamp won. Spurs up.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's what I said, right? Tails, Muschamp, head, Sweeney.
I thought you said the other way around, but who cares?
It's like an NFL coin.
Yeah,
coin toss.
You said, and the referee's going to tell him what he called.
So, and then we'll have Chad Holbrook in there as well to talk about his very successful weekend with his team as the Gamecocks continue to move up the polls. Up at Clemson Saturday for the spring game. And, look, the Tigers, they just look good. They just I know they've got some areas of concern to the defense. I know Venables wasn't all that happy after the scrimmage. But they, when is he happy? It's just a matter of plugging in one terrific prospect after another. Their defensive front in particular, I mean, being able to move Christian Wilkins out to defensive end, being able to plug Dexter Lawrence right in the middle. Carlos Watkins looks the best he's probably looked at Clemson in his career. The linebacking will be fine, even though they lost some good guys there. The linebacking will be fine. I think the major concern is that corner opposite Tankersley and also the safety positions. How are they going to handle that with relative inexperienced guys and a little bit of a test on their depth back there? They need Corin Wiggins really to get healthy and get back to where he was before he had the knee. Something else now, I mean, it was a spring game, but Artavis Scott had 3 really nice returns, and they were going live on their returns. I say live in quotation marks here because we don't know. In a spring game, I mean, do guys let up a little bit? Do they really go with the same intensity? Probably not. But the point is, Clemson came out of the national championship game shaking its head over the performance of its cover teams, and they had some big returns against them in the spring game as well by Artavis Scott, who looked Artavis Scott has really got a chance to emerge along with now Mike Williams didn't play because he didn't go through any physical contact during the spring. But Artavis Scott's got a chance to really have a breakout huge year.
He's already broken out. I mean, he has a chance to be a superstar. There's no question about it.
The best thing for Clemson this year, especially their younger players, is Auburn is on the schedule. There's no cupcake, and so they have to work in order to be ready.
Auburn's not very good.
But it's an SEC
I was watching
team,
some of their spring, and they couldn't even get a snap.
And it ain't the Citadel. So it's an SEC.
Why do you have to bring the Citadel into this?
I'm not so sure I wouldn't rather play Auburn compared to the Citadel. The way Citadel runs that triple option. Who wants to face a triple option?
Not in the opener. No.
Yeah.
Well, if you got
maybe the opener is a time to face a triple option because you can prepare for it.
An Auburn defensive back has already said they're going to open up 5-0, including a win over Clemson, and a win over Texas A&M.
It's easy to say. This is talking season, as Steve Spurrier used to say. So you can say a lot of things. They're going to line it up. They played at Jordan-Hare. It'll be a tough environment.
Yeah,
you'll be going out there, but you have an experienced quarterback. Deshaun Watson has never been frazzled in his career. No stage has been too big for him, whether it's the ACC championship game, whether he's a true freshman down at Florida State, coming off the bench and almost leading them to a win over the defending national champs, or the BCS championship game, the Orange Bowl. No stage has been too big for Deshaun Watson. So Jordan-Hare Stadium is not going to be too big for him either.
Watson played 4 series, 2 on each side. They didn't go good on good at Clemson. They split it up into 2 different rosters and had Deshaun play on both sides. And he came right out of the box, threw a 41-yard pass to Renfro in the second play of the game, threw a touchdown pass. He looked good. He looks good physically. He's put on some more muscle. And like you said, he's unflappable and he's very confident. And he is no doubt the absolute leader of that football program. And he's got good people around him. The offensive line looks good. The running backs, Gallman and Choice and Dye and Fuller. I mean, they've got running backs. My goodness, their offense should be the best in the country. I think their offense should be. I think their offense should be the best in the country. They'll be able to post some big numbers on some people.
Yeah, no question.
Now, I watched South Carolina on tape. You were there live. It looked like they were having a lot of fun. And I'll tell you what, Brandon McElwain, to my eyes, watching him for the first time live, lived up to what I expected of a quarterback of his reputation. He looks very athletic. He looked in charge. He looked like the team leader out there, even though he's never quarterbacked a real game.
He definitely has that pocket presence. He looks like he's comfortable. He doesn't look flustered out there. And you want to compare and contrast, like Connor Mitch, the guy who came in with a lot of the very similar accolades. He still doesn't look real comfortable back there. He's scrambling around. He just doesn't seem like he feels really comfortable in that position. McElwain does. He missed some throws. He was scrambling. He has some speed. He's not a big guy. He's not real tall, but he's strong. He's a thick guy, and he's definitely fast. Now, the defense couldn't hit the quarterback, so it's a little easier to scramble when you know the guys are going to let up and not hit you. They're going to hit him when the season starts, so that'll be another factor to keep an eye on. He does do a nice job leading the team, and they don't throw the ball down the field as much with Kurt Roper. You can already see the fact that they're going to keep things in space, a lot more underneath passes, take what the defense can give you, get some positive yards, not as many of the high-risk, high-reward deep passes that Steve Spurrier liked to call when he was on the headset. So you could definitely sense that. But I agree that McElwain was the best quarterback on the field Saturday. The second best quarterback on the field probably was Garnecchia, to be quite honest with you. He had a great drive in the third quarter. Mitch late did kind of settle in and make a few nice throws. You'll have to see. I think Perry Orth is going to be a factor because he has the experience. And maybe you go into Vanderbilt and say, we want to start a guy that has started on the road. It's been to Texas A&M, that's been to Tennessee, that started against Clemson, and then bring McElwain in, ease him in that game. Don't put it all on him at once. But he's the best quarterback. Certainly was on Saturday.
Again, Mitch is the kind of guy, for whatever reason, maybe it's still a high school in him. A guy has to be 5 yards open before he throws it. He doesn't trust throwing it in the windows because it looks like the coverage is too tight. The only thing I will say about McElwain, if he's 6 feet, I'm 6'4", because he's thick. He's not how can I put this? He's not a quarterback that a defensive back will be glad to hit. He looks like a running back, and he runs like a running back once he comes out of the pocket. Because
Taj Boyd
he's a thick guy.
a load to bring. I saw Taj at the game, by the way. He was doing some television upstairs.
He's a great guy. Well,
looks good.
And that's the thing with McElwain. He is going to have to figure things out in terms of getting that offense under control, completing passes that are there. He missed some passes. There were some overthrows there, and I know Kurt Roper thinks that he's improving. He does remind you, and maybe it's just because of their body types and they both played baseball, but he does kind of have that Russell Wilson style where he can scramble around and keep a play going a little bit. Doesn't really wow you with anything, but he just seems steady, and he does seem in control. Now, one thing, TJ Holloman made an interesting point after the game where he said all the skills are there for Brandon McElwain. What he needs to work on is being a vocal leader, being that guy. He's a freshman. He was in high school last year, so I think he's still kind of feeling his way around these guys. But they're looking at their quarterback, and they want a leader. And that's one thing, and I keep mentioning him because Perry Orth has that. I mean, he is a leader. When you go out to practice, and when Orth was healthy, he was a guy breaking out down the huddles. He was a guy doing those things. And I think that his experience is still going to keep him in this race. I think that's why it's still a race right now, is Perry Orth experience. Yeah. They're not waiting for Lorenzo Nunez. He's not going to be the guy. I mean, Lorenzo Nunez is not going to be a significant contributor at quarterback at South Carolina. And I think they're waiting to see what Orth does.
The only thing I don't see is I wish they would have forced the running game a little bit, because they have to run the football. I know he wanted to see them throw.
I think he wanted to have a little fun. I think he wanted to put some points. But that's why he allowed a touchdown to stand after a grab by his offensive tackle.
AJ Turner has a quick burst, a burst we haven't seen in a while in the backfield.
All right, be right back. And we're back. Sports Talk coming up at the bottom of the hour. USC football coach Will Muschamp on the Gamecock spring game performance from Saturday. So the defense for South Carolina in a game-type setting against that offense, what was your take on that? Did you see some areas of improvement, keeping in mind that they were playing, of course, without their
With the two best linebackers.
top
with Walton
defensive
and
player,
Sky Moore were both out of the game. I thought the defensive line looked a lot better. They're going to be a much improved unit up front on that defensive line. There's no question. Their linebackers are solid because Walton and Sky Moore are both solid linebackers. So there is no question that they're going to be better defensively across the board. They do have issues. Those are legitimate issues they have in their secondary, but they're going to get more pressure on the quarterback. They tackle better. They just look like they were playing a little faster out there. They were certainly fundamentally better in wrapping guys up, and they tried not to tackle to the ground as much. They did. They were hitting out there. It was a live scrimmage. They weren't hitting the quarterbacks, obviously. There's no question they're going to be a much improved team on the defensive side of the ball. They're going to be a work in progress on offense, I think, because they don't know who their playmakers are. I mean, you can't name one proven playmaker on that offense.
The video watching the game, I thought that Deebo Samuel kind of emerged and showed what he could do.
Very good.
And I think that
Brian
Edwards
from Conway, which brings to mind this question, totally off topic here a little bit, but do they need to move the hedges back a little bit? Seemed like those hedges are right up on the end zone line there.
Did they seem closer to you? I mean, I was there and they kept hitting them, but I've never noticed that being a factor in any of the countless games that I've covered at Williams-Brice Stadium. I've never really thought that the hedges seem too close.
Closer, have they grown out? Have they grown out towards the end zone?
I know, unless Roper likes to use the back of the end zone.
Maybe they've grown out some. Their guys were overthrowing people a little bit. Now, you hit those hedges, and then there's a couple of bars behind there, and I don't know if they put padding on that or not. But
I don't think so. And Edwards hurt himself.
Yeah,
that second time he was holding his ribs. He was coming off the field. He did not look like he was feeling good.
Yeah,
that's don't know if they.
I don't know if he made it all the way through the hedges to that bar. If he just hit the hedges and came down funny, but I've never thought that was an issue until Saturday.
Any of us who do yard work, okay, you probably hire somebody came back. I do my own yard work, and you lean into a fully grown hedge like that, and those limbs will come out and stick you. I mean, they're sharp, and they'll puncture you. They'll cut the skin.
So are you saying get rid of the hedges? What's next? Take away the hedges in Athens?
Are they a tradition?
It's not as bad as
they say
in Knoxville.
The hedges?
They used to have the brick wall without any padding at Neyland Stadium, and Vic Hampton went headfirst into it in a game, and they put some padding up. Now, fortunately, it was Vic Hampton, and it didn't cause any damage because I think it actually helped him.
Oh no, I knew he was going to say. I would have said that, but okay.
By the way, I was not surprised that Luce Sossaman scored that touchdown in the seniors game against. Obviously, I'm not going to go with my.
Go with it. That was a great joke. That was a great joke.
The Payne said he was going to hit him. He should have hit him. And
I was just going to say that defense. They looked at the film of last year's defense, ran the same scheme. Not surprised that he found an opening right up the middle against that defense.
Man.
Anyway, we'll come back. Let you hear from the Gamecocks head coach, Will Muschamp, his thoughts on his first spring game. All right, post-spring time here on Sports Talk. We wrapped up spring practice, I think, for most everybody in states. Can't think of anybody else who's still going on. Had a lot of spring games over the weekend, and in recent days we'll be catching up with the coaches we have not talked to as we move forward here through the spring and into the dog days of summer around the corner and get ready for the return to football in August. So let's catch up with Will Muschamp and his thoughts about his first spring at USC, his first spring game. I think he came out of everything feeling pretty good.
Again, I'm really pleased with our guys' effort. We've got a critical time starting from here to August 1st for our team. And, by NCAA rules, we can't be with them on the field with the ball. Our guys have got to take ownership in that, and you can make a tremendous amount of improvement in your football team offensively and defensively during this time. And I think we have the leadership and the maturity to handle that. A lot of competition, which certainly helps our situation as far as those things are concerned, and I'll open it up for any questions.
Will, on offense and really on defense, how much would you say you guys were wide open today? Did you hold anything back, or is this what the kind of things we'll see in the fall?
Well, I think we tried to stay away from some of the gap schemes in the run game because that's where you get the guys tangled up a little bit. I wanted to watch the zone scheme. We threw our normal route concepts we always do. We didn't put anything different on tape that we didn't show at Florida or Auburn on defense, or what we did at Duke or Florida with rope on offense. So those are things that we do. That's base things we do out of our 4-down package defensively. Base coverages. There's some pressures involved and some overloads, but for the most part, there wasn't a whole lot of scaling back. And the biggest thing I wanted to do is, because when you get into a spring game situation, you're commingling different groupings and things, and some guys you don't want to get into a situation of not a guy not knowing what to do or how to do it and getting somebody blown up. So, but we did good on good. I think that's the only way you get better. I think you get a very false opinion of yourselves when you go 1s versus 2s and 3s and 4s and all that. I just don't understand the rationale behind that. I want to go good on good, and that's what we did.
Coach, how would you assess the play of Brandon McElwain, especially getting to see him play with a whole lot of people in the stands?
Well, a lot of command and a lot of maturity. Obviously he's a really good athlete, but I think he throws the ball extremely well. I thought he made a couple of really nice throws today. The field out in the first half over on the away sideline was a really nice throw. I thought the decision-making was very good, and the 1-minute drive was impressive. So I think, again, he's continued to improve, from practice 1 till now. And we've got to make some tremendous strides in the offseason.
Well, I know the competition will go into the fall, but how did you like how Brandon, Connor, and the other QBs looked today?
Well, I thought Connor made a couple really nice third-down throws. And I thought the decision-making to where to take the ball was good, and that's always what you want. Michael had a great drive there in the third quarter. So, we continue to progress, and, competition is our best friend as coaches, and we've got a lot of competition, and you throw Lorenzo and Perry into that, talk as well as we move forward. Perry will be full speed June 1st. So, again, that's something that excites me moving forward to know that that's going to help our football team be better. And I think we've got enough savvy and leadership in that group to really do a good job in the all season with our team.
Coach, you had an interesting viewpoint all game behind the quarterback. Can you just talk about you being on the field and the coaches being on the sidelines, that kind of thing?
Well, I think it's good from the game day operation to work with the coaches. In 2 other scrimmages, we had the guys that are going to be in the press box. We're in the press box. So we had full game day operation as far as those things are concerned. I just like from number one, to see the quarterbacks, how he handles things. His how he's going to handle things, the communication up front on offense, and then to be able to see where defensive players' eyes are. Our eye control has been an issue at times through the spring, but I want to see where their eyes are and what they're seeing. But, biggest thing to me is body language out there and how guys are responding to adversity. And I think it's important to be on the field and be able to see some of those things and address them moving forward.
Coach, what would you say is the biggest concern
you have still coming out of spring, or concerns, plural?
Well,
and is there anything you feel you resolved?
Every team in the country has concerns. So ours are number one. We need to find a quarterback, and I think we have viable candidates in play. So I think that position is going to take care of itself. I think that we've got enough talent level there to be productive. Playmakers on offense. Debo Samuel is a guy that's really distanced himself as a guy. I thought Brian Edwards, the last 2 practices, including today, has showed some play down the field. Hayden Hurst and Casey Crosby, I think, provide us some things. But we need to have more. We don't have much depth as far as playmakers are concerned. I'm pleased with the way David Williams has run the ball, and A.J. Turner's done some nice things, but we need to continue to develop more depth at that position. On defense, the secondary is a concern. Just from coverage ability down the field against some of the receivers we're going to be matched up with. And you look at our 2 crossover games from the West as Mississippi State and A&M, extremely talented out on the perimeter at the receiver positions. So we've got to improve in the secondary and create more depth in the secondary. Those would be the playmakers offensively, finding a quarterback, and defensively in the secondary.
Coach, you mentioned wanting to see the zone elements of the running game. How did you kind of assess that performance today?
Well, I thought we got good movement up front. I thought the backs ran well. I thought they found daylight very well. We got some good tempo situations, getting on the ball defensively. Didn't get aligned correctly a couple of times, which is disappointing. But hey, I thought we ran the ball well, and I think we will run the ball well. We've kept a lot of things the same verbiage-wise for our offensive line, which is important, and I've been very pleased with their transition.
Coach, what were you most pleased with coming out of the spring, and were there any pleasant surprises during the spring?
Well, I think that from a young player standpoint, always difficult to come in mid-year, but it's no question, in my opinion, it's the best thing for the student athlete to come in mid-year. But Brian Edwards, the end of spring, really took some steps forward. Kier Thomas did some really nice things for us. Late in spring, his improvement from 1 to now has been tremendous. Brandon McElwain, obviously, for a young player. Those 3 young players have really done a nice job. Continuing to feel comfortable in the offensive line. I thought Mason Zandy had a very good spring. Corey Helms and Alan Knott inside. The development of DJ Park to continue to come on to be at the right tackle position. He and Blake will continue that competition moving forward. And Donnell Staniel made a lot of improvements as well. I thought in the up front, we really played blocks much better from practice 1 to now. Abu Lamon's a guy that's I don't know how much he's played before, not a lot, but he's played blocks well. Kelsey Griffin has done a nice job. Taylor Stallworth has done a nice job. Kobe Smith, for a young player, is another guy that I like to recognize that really has made some strides, and he'll help us next year. Yorick Jones, Quade Lewis had a great spring. Again, just playing blocks up front the way we want to play. I thought we made tremendous strides up front. I feel very good about our linebacking situation. We got to continue to develop depth there, but I think those guys, Bryson Allen Williams has been a guy that can rush the passer and play stack backer off the ball. So he's a guy that gives you a lot as far as the player is concerned.
Will, with you tailbacks, would you prefer to have a top 3 group of guys, or would you go 5, 6, maybe 7 deep in the rotation?
Well, it's hard to, be able to rep that many guys. You like to have a couple guys, and I think David and AJ complement each other well because they're a little bit different in what they're able to do, and we got to continue to bring some people along. Moving Jamari Smith to slot, who made some nice plays today, I think helps us. But it hurts our running back depth. But we're lacking some playmakers outside, so that's the best move for our football team right now. And I appreciate his unselfishness of making the move, and I thought he did some nice things.
All right, there you go. Will Muschamp comments after the Gamecocks spring game on Saturday. Some things to feel good about, some concerns, of course. It's always the case when you come out of spring. By the way, tomorrow at Clemson, the Board of Trustees Compensation Committee is going to meet to finalize a new contract for Dabo Swinney. Also, contract changes for the men's and women's basketball assistants on the agenda. TigerNet's David Hood broke the story over the weekend that Swinney was getting a new deal from Clemson, some kind of alteration. I don't know if it'll be a completely new deal or just an addition to what he's got now. He still has a lot of years left on his contract, but got to believe they're going to be looking at a way to make sure they lock him down and make it as difficult as possible for him to leave financially. Back in a moment. All right, well, coming off the spring game weekends at Clemson and USC, we have got a lot of recruiting knowledge for you. So let's go ahead and get into that. Then Chad Holbrook will join us in the second hour. And also we will hear from the Tigers' Dabo Sweeney and the Tigers' Deshaun Watson, and from the Gamecocks' Chris Moody and TJ Holloman. So still a lot to come your way, but a lot of recruiting information to get to. So let's share that with you, beginning with Jelani Woods, quarterback, Ellenwood, Georgia. He was at USC on Saturday, and for the first time, he named an outright leader after the visit. It is South Carolina. Since he has not been to Oklahoma State yet, he said South Carolina is the leader. And he told them that. He told Muschamp and Roper that he now is favoring them and what he is thinking right now. But they are going to go to Stillwater this weekend, the family. And after he comes back, he said he could be ready to make a commitment maybe as early as Sunday. But he is attracted to Oklahoma State, good relationship with the coaches, talks to them a lot. But he really enjoyed the visit to USC, enjoyed the crowd and seeing what it was like on a game day there. One of his former teammates, Bryson Allen Williams, of course, was there to talk to him. He also connected with Brandon McElwain, he said. Plus, he said USC runs the exact same offense they run in high school. So except for the terminology, it'd be a very easy transition for him. So we'll keep a close watch out on that. Also, defensive back Rami Robinson, 5'11", 183 of Hampton, Georgia, was at USC Saturday. Had a chance to meet up with defensive coordinator Travaris Robinson. And he said USC's interest in him is picking up, and they wanted to see him in person. And they plan to see him also in the spring. Right now, not a lot of big-time offers for him, Columbus State and Kentucky Christian. But he's also hearing from Vanderbilt, Brown, UT Chattanooga, and South Carolina State. 67 tackles, 3 passes defended, 1 interception last year in 8 games. Defensive back Jeremiah Owusu Koromoa, 6'2", 196, a safety, Hampton, Virginia. He was at Clemson on Saturday. Got a chance to talk to Brent Venables, who is telling him to be patient regarding an offer. Clemson has not offered him yet, but they are interested in Clemson, and he is interested in them. The Tigers, of course, in need of safeties to some degree. And he said after watching the spring game, he could see himself playing safety at Clemson. He likes the way they play their secondary, a lot of man-to-man coverage, and he likes that. He's only 16 and still growing, so he could actually grow into an outside linebacker in a couple of years. He does have offers from Virginia, Wake Forest, Appalachian State, Charlotte, James Madison, Old Dominion, and Hampton. No top 3 at this. Well, he does have a top 3 in mind, but he doesn't want to go public with it right now. Defensive back Lummy Young of Westside was at Clemson Saturday, got there late because of the ACT, so he missed all the pregame recruiting activity with the coaches and said he actually had to sit in the stands with the regular fans and not in the section where the recruits were, and he left early because of the cold weather. Not been offered by Clemson. He is a Tiger fan. He'd love to get an offer, but he realizes that that ship may have sailed, and he's looking at his other options. USC, Duke, Georgia Tech, Wake Forest, NC State, Cal, Coastal, Old Dominion, Miami of Ohio, Charlotte. Those are all offers for him. And he's researching all those schools while waiting to see who else comes in with offers. Not sure when he'll get back to USC because of his prom and football combines coming up in the next few weeks. He did say his top 3 are Duke, USC, and NC State. He does like Duke a little more because of the academics, and Duke is coming at him real hard. Look for a decision in June or July. 2019 offensive lineman Evan Neal of Okeechobee, Florida, was at USC Sunday, and the Gamecocks offered 2019 athlete Johnny Dixon of Tampa on Sunday. Receiver Austin Connor of Dutch Fork was at Georgia Saturday. Really enjoyed it. Hopes to get back to USC at some point in the near future. Nothing has been set up. Defensive end Trey Lawson of North Augusta was at USC Saturday. His parents met with Will Muschamp for the first time, and they talked about how he's a good fit at South Carolina. That's Muschamp telling him that. He has USC and Florida State at the top of his list. He plans to visit Tennessee in the near future. Somerville receiver Cam Burnett was offered Saturday by Coastal Carolina. Offensive lineman TJ Moore of Charlotte still favoring USC over NC State, Maryland, Kentucky, and Florida State. He wants to wait a few more weeks before possibly committing. He did not make it to USC spring game because of the Shrine Bowl combine. USC on Saturday offered 2018 running back Jamal Elliott of Durham, North Carolina. And we will give you more information, including more names of players at Clemson and USC on Saturday. We'll give you that coming up after the break. All right, let's continue with the recruiting knowledge here on this Monday night. Some of the uncommitted recruits at Clemson Saturday were linebacker Drew Singleton and defensive lineman Corey Bowles of Paramus, New Jersey, defensive end Malik Herring of Forsyth, Georgia, linebacker KJ Britt of Oxford, Alabama, defensive end Zachary Carter of Tampa, defensive end Devontae Davis of Silver Bluff, linebacker Justin Foster of Shelby, North Carolina, defensive end Eric Allen of Kennesaw, Georgia, linebacker Chavis Franklin of Conyers, Georgia, defensive back Jamias Williams of Decatur, Georgia, 2018 prospects linebacker KJ Phillips, College Park, Georgia, defensive end Xavier Thomas of Wilson, running back Jamari Adderley of Jonesboro, Georgia, defensive end Justin Maskell of Snellville, Georgia, offensive lineman Will Lawrence of Memphis, quarterback DeCarrion Joyner of Fort Dorchester, running back Devon Lawrence of Wake Forest, North Carolina, defensive back Nick Price of Chapin. 2019 prospects, offensive lineman Michael Tarquin of Ocala, Florida, and Jesse Hansen of Daleville, Virginia, and 2020 running back Rajay Harris of Burns. Uncommitted prospects at USC included defensive back Trey Shaw, Ellenwood, Georgia, receiver Kyle Zuber, tight end DJ Carter of Conyers, Georgia, quarterback Jay Ulrich of Wren, running back Davion Dean of TL Hanna, defensive end DeAndre Johnson, Miami, athlete Terrence Brunson, Calhoun County, linebacker Chad Quick, Marlboro County, 2018 prospects, offensive lineman Devin Cannon of Rock Hill, 2019 running back Darius Barnum of Snellville, Georgia, 2019 receiver Robert Jones III of Morrow, Georgia. Receiver Austin Connor of Dutch Fork went to Georgia Saturday. Liked it there. He'll visit Virginia Tech this coming weekend. Terrence Brunson, I mentioned him. He was at USC Saturday, had a lot of fun. He said he rates high on the board based on what the coaches are telling him. They want to see him in camp this summer. He's going to visit Charlotte April 23rd. Defensive end, MJ Webb of Madison, Georgia. Defensive end, Brad Johnson of Pendleton. They did not make it to USC spring game. Linebacker Eric Crosby, Virginia Beach, is down to Tennessee, and Virginia Tech, Clemson, and USC were among his other offers. In basketball, Jeff Borzello of ESPN reported last night Delaware transfer Corey Holden, the 6'2 guard, will visit USC this weekend. Seton Hall unofficially April 19th, Baylor official on April 29th. 6'5 Presbyterian transfer Deshaun Murray went to Middle Tennessee over the weekend, so the visit was great. Really loved the campus, coaches, the team. Going to Auburn April 29th and said he's not hearing from USC any longer. USC showing interest in 2017 6'11 Tyshawn Crawford of Griffin, Georgia, according to hoopscene.com. Middle Tennessee has offered him. And 6'7 David Bottenberg of Rockville Center, New York, has committed to South Carolina State. There you go with recruiting. K-Mac, did you meet any recruits while you were there Saturday?
I saw some down there. I did.
Did you say hello?
I did not.
Yeah.
I don't speak to recruits.
Good idea. Don't get yourself reintroduced
I try to avoid that.
to that. All right, top of the hour break. We'll be back.
Live from Columbia, this is Sports Talk on the South Carolina Radio Network. Be a part of tonight's show. Call us at 800-956-7266 or email talkback@sportstalksc.com. Now, here are your hosts for Sports Talk, Phil Kornbluth, Kevin McCrary, and Tom Hayes.
We are back. Sports Talk, South Carolina Radio Network, here on a Monday night from downtown Columbia. Phil Kornbluth, the professor, Tom Hayes, K-Mac, Kevin McCrary, all together on what will be a busy Monday. Let's see. Wednesday, we go to Charlotte for the baseball game, and then Thursday, we head down to Harbortown for the Heritage. Looking forward to that, the RBC Heritage. And another good field put together. I don't think Danny Willett's in the field, is he? The Masters champion? I don't think
he was, but
he was he in the field?
No, I'm just
kidding.
They
usually pull out.
Well, not last year.
Spieth, he's not going to play in it this year. Maybe he needs that.
But
Willett
there, just had his first
head to
child
the Salty
over a
Dog
week
Cafe,
ago.
Yeah. Have a couple of cold ones. Watch the tide come in there.
He really looked in the presentation afterwards. He looked stunned still.
How tough is that too? It's like, hey, you just blew the Masters. Now get over here and give this guy that won it from you. That's a tough tradition right there. But he handled it as well as you could. I know for some goofy reason the Cam Newton debate got brought up again by how you handle these things. I saw a video of him walking off the course when he, in no uncertain terms, told the CBS cameras to get out of his face.
Don't get in front of my face. I didn't want the front.
He wanted, and you can understand that. But comparing those two things is dopey because you have a team sport. People are actually rooting against football players out there, and it's completely different. And Cam Newton was gracious with the Bronco players after the game and Peyton Manning. But all that being said, as great as Jordan Spieth is, and we'll see how many majors he ends up winning. But the comparisons to Tiger Woods and Jack Nicklaus. Tiger and Jack never imploded on the back nine of a major. I mean, Tiger, when he had the lead on Sunday, he didn't give it up. Tiger Woods would not have lost that. And that's the difference between, and maybe Jordan will get there, but that's when Tiger Woods was great. He had all the physical stuff, but mentally,
he was locked in.
You couldn't do it. He had that. I mean, that was something that separates him from even a Jordan Spieth, who's a great one, maybe the greatest in the world right now. That's the difference. That lets you just know how special Tiger was.
Then again, the odds were. I mean, you led 7 straight rounds at the Masters.
I was hoping,
and you got to win 8. You needed to finish 8.
I was so hoping that he would run in that birdie on was it 17 to get it back to 1. So no, it would have been 16 to get it back to 2. To give him a chance to keep it going. And he missed. And Jordan Spieth, who's known for his 10-foot putts and he's just almost automatic in that range. And he missed one. But they were saying, that's a putt. It's a very difficult putt downhill, missing that putt all day long. And he fell in line with the others.
He did kind of rebound pretty well. I mean, if he makes that putt on 16, it's a one-stroke game with 2 to play. So I give him credit. He didn't completely
That's the key, though. Willett smelled blood in the water, and he took it. So give him credit.
Okay, we'll come back, and Dabo Sweeney will share his thoughts about the Tigers' spring. That's coming up. All right, the Braves are taking a 2-0 lead early in their game in Washington against the Nationals, trying to get on the board with a win for the first time this season. My advice to the Braves: relax, boys, on and off the field with Founders Federal Credit Union. It's located in the heart of Gamecock country. Founders Russell House location, available to help Gamecock fans with all their financial needs. Visit relaxjoinfounders.com to see if you qualify for membership. They have them up at Clemson as well, of course, building a new location. Founders is at Clemson. The foundation of the Clemson football program, well built, and Dabo Swinney just kind of fine-tuning things here and there, knowing he's got the basis for another national contending team, just keeping everybody healthy, filling in a few spots here, working in some of the new guys there, and just bringing everybody along and trying to get everything to reach a crescendo at the proper time when they go to Auburn to open up next season. It was spring game day for the Tigers, however, on Saturday, a beautiful day, over 50,000 there, no injuries coming out of the game, and plenty of exciting plays made by some of their talented players. Here's what Dabo had to think about things after the game.
Just your basic thoughts after that.
Well, I thought, it was good to see him. I thought it was competitive. There were some really good plays on both sides, and I thought we got out of it what we needed to. First of all, nobody got hurt, so that's always a positive because it's, when you step between the lines, it's physical. And but first of all, I just want to thank our crowd. I mean, it was awesome, and it gives us the opportunity to help develop our team because there's just, when you got 50,000+ there, it creates a game day environment, and you can't simulate that in practice. And so to be able to kind of have that piece added to the evaluation and to give a lot of young guys who really haven't played yet that feeling of having played in a game, that's priceless. It really is. And so, this will be there'll be good tape that we can evaluate. And we're really, you split the team, it's a mixed bag out there. And, you got people playing that might not be playing, but we want everybody to play, but we'll evaluate each person individually. And so we got a lot of information to process as a staff, but overall, solid spring. We're progressing. I thought the backs ran well today. I thought the receivers made some plays, and good to see some of those guys. Travion had a couple misses, but he had a good day. It's good to see him. Hopefully, he can take some confidence out of that. And Ray made some plays, and I thought the quarterbacks all did some good things. So it was very positive. Not really disappointed, other than we our backup kicking situation. We've got some work to do there, but I think we'll have some answers. But right now, I was a little disappointed, and that's not what I've seen in practice. But that's kind of what I'm talking about. It's kind of hard to simulate, that pressure. So hopefully we can get better from that.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say Deshaun's your starter, but do you have a solid number 2 coming out of the spring?
Well, I think, again, all those guys did some good things. I mean, Kelly comes in, makes some nice plays, and he took a couple times he held the ball a little too long, but he and part of his game that makes him special is his ability to create as well, and kind of take that away from him a little bit with a quick whistle. But he made some nice plays. Really nice corner throw to Leggett in the wind. That was a big wind out there. I could tell they were a little frustrated in warm-ups. So I went on. I said, "Hey, them boys down there at Augusta are having to hit it today. They ain't canceling the day. So you better figure it out here. We're gonna play." And so it was good to see him, make some nice throws. And then Nick's just steady, man. Nick just makes plays. He just knows what he's doing. He moves the team, and I thought Tucker came in and made some nice plays. He's kind of he's a little bit of a gamer and just kind of a gunslinger, and made some nice throws. Thought we had a chance to make that one. It would have been interesting if we could have made that catch in the end zone there, and chance for a 2-point conversion on 4th down. But all of them did some good things. But we'll process everything. But by the time we get ready to go to Auburn, we'll have a definite number 2 going in.
Something Mike Williams went through warm-ups. Was it a last-minute decision to hold him today?
Oh no, he hasn't scrimmaged all spring. but he's done flips and dives and falling on the ground and all that type of stuff. But we just held him out of the scrimmage situation. So
You had a couple of long returns, once in the punt game, once on kickoff. Is that good or bad?
Well, I think it's good from being able to see Artavis make some big plays. I mean, it was kind of windy out there today, and we had again, trying to give everybody a chance to look at them. We had a real low line drive punt on one, and you have no chance at coverage with that. So you're going to get a return there. I think, Ray's a guy that we'd love to see kind of, become a go-to guy for us in that return game, because we really think he can be special. But we know Artavis can do it, and we all trust him. He's, he had a 50-yard return in the national championship game. He's got the ability to go score for you. But we're really trying to challenge some other guys and develop some other guys as well. And Ray's one of them that we need some production from him in the return game.
Yeah, it looked like he picked up where he left off.
Yeah, I was just messing with him in pregame. I was telling him that, the legend of Renfro is diminishing because of Seth Ryan has had such a great spring. I mean, Seth Ryan has had a great spring. He made a couple plays today, and he's made 2 or 3 of those every day in practice, all spring. Whether he's going against the first team, the third team, it don't matter. That kid has really developed into a solid, dependable guy. And so, he's I was just saying that to Renfro in pregame, and dadgummit, he don't go and make a great play. It was a great throw by Deshaun right into the wind. He picked right up where he left off. So he likes it when the lights are on. He likes that.
You haven't looked at the film yet, but did Christians play it in, reaffirm your confidence
Oh,
in
yeah.
him playing there?
Oh, yeah. I didn't need to see him today to know. I mean, I saw that in all 14 practices previous. But, it's good for him, though, to be able to, kind of get in that game setting. But he can definitely do it.
What did you think of the secondary where they competed today?
Well, they did good. It's good to see Edmond make a big play, and Carter had a pick. We were, miscommunication by Ray. He should have been running a comeback and busted there. And so it was kind of an easy pick for Carter. But the other one was, I thought, a great play by Marcus Edmond. But we came back and got greedy, jumping the outcut and playing the quarterback and not playing through the receiver, and got burned on the out and up. So got to learn from that. But again, Marcus is a guy that's been around here, been getting better, but he hasn't had much game experience. So it's great for him to be able to get a chance to start and play a lot. He's had a really good spring. So is Mark Fields. So is Carter. We're going to be just fine at corner. We're going to be better than fine. We're going to be good.
You notice a difference in the team this spring, coming off the kind of year you had compared to previous springs when you hadn't made the national championship game, the way the guys maybe go about their business or carry themselves?
Yes, I have. In fact, my thing that I've said, I just told the team, the thing I really like about this team is the chemistry from day one has been very unique. Sometimes it takes you got to get through the spring, you got new roles, you got to get through a summer for all that stuff to kind of gel. But these guys have just, from day one, have really been on the same page, and the chemistry's been really good. And I think, also it's one thing to kind of dream about something. It's another thing to experience it. And so the experience of being there, the pain of not getting it done, all those things are positives as far as when you're trying to start over, because you learn from everything. And, when you can learn from a national championship run, there's a lot that comes with that.
All right, Dabo Swinney from the Tigers spring game on Saturday. Again, look, with Clemson, it's not as simple as just saying Deshaun Watson. There's more to it than that. But my goodness, he just looks like $1 million out there, which he will be making here pretty soon. $1 million and a whole lot more. He looks totally confident and in control, and he's got the players around him to make him look good, and he makes them look good as well. In fact, we'll hear from the Heisman Trophy frontrunner coming up. Chad Holbrook coming up, bottom of the hour. Also, Deshaun Watson here in a couple of moments. I want to remind you from the South Carolina Forestry Commission, insects and diseases, they can be moved hundreds of miles in firewood and threaten our forest, favorite campsites, neighborhoods, state, and national parks. Help protect the trees you love by purchasing firewood at or near where you burn it. For more information, visit don'tmovefirewood.org. All right, they didn't ask Deshaun Watson to do a whole lot on Saturday, play about 4 series, complete some passes, give the home fans something to cheer about. And we caught up with him afterwards as he was talking about the spring and the progress everybody had made and just looking ahead to the upcoming season.
I like the pass first, so the running game, it just comes second nature to me. I just enjoy, the times that are the plays they call, and whatever they call, we're comfortable with it. It's not so much just running. Because Nate Schuster can run, but they don't say he's a runner guy. He's a more pocket passer. So, we all can throw the ball, regardless if it's a read option or not. So, we'll just find out in the fall.
What was your mindset coming into this game? You hadn't played in the spring game before. What was your mindset coming in? Obviously, stay healthy was important.
Just enjoy it, have fun, and just cut it loose, and just enjoy it with the fans, and another opportunity to get better, and that's what we did, and that was pretty much it.
Sean, from now to fall camp, is there something specifically you're going to focus on more than anything, or what do you think?
Just being a complete player, and I'm just, really just everything that I can get better on and really improve, and just, making sure that the team is on the same page. That's pretty much it.
I feel like you've come a long way since playing, flag football like you did in Gainesville, and then, moving up through middle school and high school, and now, you're at the cusp of what might be the end of your amateur career kind of thing. When you look back, did you imagine being in this spot?
Of course. I've always dreamed big. I always dreamed for moments like this, opportunities like this, and whenever the opportunities came, I really enjoyed and took advantage of it. And so it was nothing surprising. I worked for it, and I just put my head down and went on the grind, and that's what got me here. I appreciate everyone that helped me out to get to this point, and people love and all the people I play with. So just something that I always dreamed and thought I could be at.
Did you sense the urgency in spring practice coming off the year you guys had, getting to the brink? Now you come back for the spring. Did you sense the work ethic and the sense of urgency among the guys that you had going into, say, last year?
Yeah, same mindset, same type of energy. Just having a chance to go out there and do it all over again, but finish it. We try to go into this season, leave no regrets, and just really just try to be the best team we could be this year.
All right, Deshaun Watson poised to have another outstanding year at Clemson. Tiger fans, you better like a fine wine, you better sip it slowly and enjoy the fragrance and the flavor of Deshaun Watson.
Because like you're talking about sherry.
He will be gone, no doubt, sometime after January when the Tigers are finished up. We'll be right back. Chad Holbrook. We are back, Sports Talk, South Carolina Radio Network, and we're presented by South Carolina Commission on Higher Education. Find out how you can get help paying for college at one of 42 events this month. Go to sccango.org. The Braves just served up a 3-run homer. They trail in Washington 3-2. Was it a 2-run homer?
Yeah, sacrifice fly, then a 2-run shot.
2-run homer. They're down 3-2 in USC coach Chad Holbrook. And our first question, obviously, Coach, will the Braves win a game this season?
I think it's a safe bet that they'll find a way to win a few. But yeah, as a Braves fan myself, it's going to be a tough season, I believe.
Yes. Yeah, they're building for the future starting next year. So anyway, congratulations to you and your team. Terrific week last week. What a great weekend series against Tennessee. A lot of exciting baseball, and that win yesterday in a tight ball game and the way you guys pulled it out. I'm telling you, we're seeing things reminiscent of World Series teams, the way this team comes from behind, the way you've got that end-of-game closer. You got a setup man to help you get to your closer. You seeing some things along those lines?
Well, we've played some pretty good baseball. We've pitched it very well. I think our earned run average is at the top of the SEC in a league that's dominated by some high-profile pitchers. So we feel good about our team, about how we've pitched. We've obviously played one good defense behind our pitchers, and we've gotten some pretty good timely hitting too. And that's a pretty good recipe in the sport of baseball. If you pitch and play defense, and you come up with a big hit, you're going to have you're going to win your fair share of games. And we've also had some good fortune. The ball's bounced our way a time or two, and we wiggled out of some jams. None more important than the one yesterday in the ninth inning. But we've had some good fortune as well. But our players have also played very well to produce some of the wins that we've gotten over the last several weeks.
It's got to be satisfying as a coach in a tight ball game. You send up a player to pinch hit for you, Destino. He hadn't had an at-bat since he was hurt in the Vanderbilt series, and he delivers for you. He delivers the game-winning, the go-ahead hit for you. And that has to make you feel really good in terms of the strategy working and knowing, obviously, too, that he's getting healthy and you'll be able to plug him back into the lineup.
Yeah, I think he's about 100% ready to go. And I tried to, and our team and our coaches and his teammates tried to make sure Alex was ready, the whole game. We felt like the way the game was unfolding, that it was going to be a close game. And if we got a runner in scoring position with the game on the line, we were certainly going to call on him, to hit. And he did step up there in a big 2-out situation and got a big hit with the game on the line. So he's one of our better hitters, and you got to feel good about putting your best hitter up in that situation. And he came through for us, and hopefully that'll make that shoulder hit a little bit quicker than normal, make him feel good. I want to get in that lineup real soon. But I have a feeling he'll be in there this week and be 100% ready to go.
Do you think he will have any, because of how he hurt himself running hard into the fence at Vandy, do you think he will have any hesitancy in going after fly balls in the outfield?
Well, I hope not. I think Alex has got great courage, and he loves to play the game of baseball, and he's new, just getting experience in the outfield. And I'm going to try to help him a little bit out there with the fundamentals a little bit better as you get closer to the wall. And but I don't think so. I think that Alex will be fine. He's improving all the time as an outfielder, and I don't have any problem putting him in there. We need him in there. We need him to play left field for us because that enables us to, get another bat in the lineup. And I've been telling him that all year long. I don't want to DH you because we need Jones's bat in the lineup when he's not catching, and that enables us to get 2 big bats in there. So he worked hard at improving his defense in left field, and that bodes well for us.
Was the field a factor at Vanderbilt with that injury? I know they have the turf, and I don't think they have a warning track, and I don't think they have any padding on their wall there at Vanderbilt.
Well, they don't have any padding, and that certainly would have been nice to have some padding out there, in that situation. But there's some fences out there, across college baseball that aren't all padded. It's not normal, to have the luxury that we have in all the parks that we play in. So, it would have been probably a less significant shoulder injury if he had run into a padded wall, but That's just the way the stadium's built. And there is a warning track out there, but it was new. It's a new field, and he didn't have to lay the lamb like you would have at Founders Park. But certainly it was a big play and it enabled us to win that game. And I love that he had the courage to run after that ball and make a big play for us. And like I said, we're very, very fortunate he's going to be back. I think I saw him at the stadium today, and he said he was 100% ready to go. So hopefully that's the case.
Well, Coach, you told us you were optimistic, but you wanted to be cautious about your team. You had a lot of talent, and you thought it would come to fruition. And you look at the standings, you look at the rankings. Of course, you tell your players to ignore them, but they're human. They see it. And you still got a lot of young players to shift from where they are, still being hungry. And now let's face it, they're going to be the hunted going into the second half of this SEC season. Have you talked to them about being mentally prepared to take the opponent's best shot every time out?
Well, I think they understand what's in front of them, and we just try to take it one game at a time, Tom. I know that's coaches speaking a cliche, but this league is so so talented, it's so deep. There's so many great players and great coaches. It can turn in one weekend or 2 weekends. Things can change in a hurry. You just try to take it one game at a time, and let's try to go 1-0 tomorrow. And let's just keep it at that. Keep it as simplistic as we can. Don't get too far ahead of ourselves. Don't start thinking about, what could happen in June. Let's just focus on the here and now and take it one game, one pitch, one at bat at a time. And hopefully we're very good. We compete like crazy all the way through. And, we'll look up in June and find ourselves in a good position. Up to this point, through 12 games, we played some pretty good baseball in the SEC play. And, I'm proud of them for that regard, but it's just 12 games. We have 18 more and some awfully difficult challenges in front of us. So we got a lot of baseball in front of us and a lot of big games in front of us. And it's certainly too early to, to start sticking your chest out and feeling good about yourself.
Yeah. Well, 10-2, it never been done before in terms of a start in SEC play. So certainly it's been a remarkable run for you guys early on, 3 sweeps in there. And you were saying during the offseason that you liked this group, that you thought this was a team that had a chance to be really, really good. Have they exceeded your expectations thus far?
Well, when you, as a coach, you sometimes, look at the schedule and break down and you look at your first, 9, 12, 15 SEC games and you try to, have little goals, over the course of the season. And this is where I want to be on this date. This is where we want to be on this date. Let's try to just keep our head above water, so to speak. And I never thought 10-2 would be something where we would be. With the schedule that we were playing and having to go on the road to Ole Miss and to Vandy and Arkansas at home and Tennessee. You just hope in the SEC, to be honest with you, I think every coach will tell you this. If you're told you're going to win 15 games in the league in the regular season, and you're going to have an opportunity maybe to win a few more, you'll sign up for that because the league is so balanced. And there's been some 15-15 teams and 16-14 teams playing the College World Series. So it's just a grind of the league, and you just take it one day at a time. And did I think we'd be sitting here as a team 10-2? No. But we've played well. We put ourselves in a good position, and we got to continue to build upon that and keep trying to play better. I don't know if we can go 10-2 in our next 12, but I do think there's some areas in our game that we can improve upon and can continue to get better and keep enabling us to put ourselves in position to win some games. And that's the goal as we go forward.
All right, talking with Chad Holbrook, USC baseball coach. May we hold you for a couple of more minutes?
Sure.
You got time? Great. We appreciate that. Chad Holbrook with us. The Gamecocks not going to play tomorrow night as scheduled. Going to play Wednesday night in Charlotte against North Carolina in what should be a great interstate matchup between the two old rivals getting together on the baseball field and sold out, I believe, there in Charlotte, maybe standing room only.
Seats.
Yeah, so we'll talk more with Coach about that and a few other things coming up next here on Sports Talk. And we continue here on Sports Talk, presented by South Carolina soybean farmers and their checkoff. Learn more at scsoybeans.org. Pork, powered by soy. And we welcome back USC baseball coach Chad Holbrook. So you're not going to play the Tar Heels until Wednesday night. Is the extra day good on this end, or is it a negative because you have one less day to get ready for Georgia?
Well, I think you can look at it both ways. I mean, it was an emotional weekend for us against Tennessee, and you always, cherish a day of rest at this time of the season. But yet, at the same point in time, you're gonna pay for it on the back end, and so it'll be a late night on Wednesday night, and we'll have to get ready and get home late and get up and go to Athens to prepare to play the University of Georgia and maybe face one of the top 2 or 3 picks in the draft this June and Robert Tyler. So we got a busy week, a challenging week, but it should be an exciting week. And it'll all start off on Wednesday night in Charlotte at a great venue and in front of around 10,000 people in a great rivalry game with North Carolina, and it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Your pitching plans for the Tar Heels will be what?
Well, I think we're going to throw a number of people. We didn't practice today, so we didn't get to see, we didn't get to talk to all our pitchers in regards to how their arm feels and how they're bouncing back from the weekend. But I think Taylor Widener will probably get the ball tomorrow or Wednesday night, at least to start. At least that's that's what I feel right now. If Taylor doesn't feel great tomorrow, things could change. But I think you'll see a number of our pitchers throw. We certainly don't want to tax any of our better guys on Wednesday night and not have them available for the Georgia series. So we'll be careful with how we do our pitching and understand that why it's a big important game Wednesday night. We also have SEC in front of us, and ultimately you're heavily judged on how you perform in conference play. So we'll throw a number of guys out there and some of our better guys, but we won't throw them too many pitches, and so we'll have them fresh and ready to go against Georgia.
All right. What about you talked about Destino? I imagine the extra day is good for him, and you'll have him in the lineup on Wednesday night.
Yeah, I would think he would be ready to go. Even if we played tomorrow night, he would be ready. I believe based on how he felt today and how he swung the bat yesterday in BP before the Tennessee game. So I think he's about ready to go, and I would think he'll be 100%. From this point forward, we're very conservative in the way we handled this injury. And hopefully that bodes well for us down the stretch.
What about John Jones? And I know he's had a little something bothering him. Is he okay going forward?
Yeah, he hasn't been 100%, but he's a tough kid, and I think these days, a couple of days will help him and recover a little bit. He had a little bout of tendonitis, but he's fine. And he told me today he felt great too. So that's a good sign for us that a healthy Jones and a healthy Destino certainly make our lineup more formidable.
Yeah. How do you like the way things are working out at second base now, the way you're handling that situation?
Well, Madison Stokes is a kid that's healthy now, and I just think he's too good a player to just sit on the bench. I gotta insert him and give him opportunities because he's a physical kid with great bat speed, and he can certainly provide our lineup with some extra base hits and maybe even some home runs. And I'm gonna continue to move him around some. I might play him at first base some, against left-handed pitching, and I might DH him some when Jones is catching and when Destino's in left field. So he's got a role on this team, a big role, and I think that he can really, really help our team. But that being said, I'm very hesitant to take DC out of there because I think that DC and Marcus Mooney, arguably, and I'm biased obviously, but those are the two of the best defensive middle infielders in the country. I love watching those kids play, and they make it awfully hard on our opponents to score runs. And so I don't want to keep those guys out of the lineup too much because we pride ourselves on pitching and defense, and DC and Marcus are awfully good.
All right, Coach. We thank you for the time tonight, and look forward to seeing you in Charlotte on Wednesday night. Should be a great atmosphere for college baseball, and best of luck to you.
Thanks a lot for having me, Phil. We'll talk to you next week.
You got it, sir. Thank you. All right, Chad Holbrook, who is, of course, a North Carolina graduate, and assures me he did not go through the same, major as the basketball guys did.
Breaking
So,
news.
Breaking
Breaking
news.
news. According to John Rothstein, South Carolina will host Monmouth as part of its 2016-2017 non-conference schedule.
Oh, another NIT participant.
Rick Callahan will be back in Columbia.
Will he go to the wrong locker room?
Maybe he will. I don't think he ever coached in the new building, so maybe he'll show up at the old arena.
I guess you're right. That's right. Yeah, they weren't all crazy about the new building, were they? Of course, for that matter, they weren't all crazy about anything Mike McGee was doing. So, all right. So Monmouth in South Carolina, another game on the schedule for the Gamecocks next basketball season as they try to piece it together. All right. Thanks to Chad Holbrook once again for joining us here on Sports Talk. We'll be right back. All right, thanks again to Chad Holbrook for being with us here tonight on Sports Talk. Speaking of baseball, let's update the polls. USC up as high as number 2 by collegiate baseball. Miami's number 1 in the major polls that we're looking at. USC's number 2 by collegiate baseball. Florida 3, Florida State 4, Mississippi State 5, and then Clemson. Well, Coastal Carolina's 22 and Clemson's 23 this week. The Baseball America ranking has USC at 5, and Clemson dropped out of Baseball America and no Coastal Carolina. Miami number 1, followed by Mississippi State, Florida, and A&M. And the coaches poll, USC's number 5 and 18. And again, it's Miami number 1 there. And in D1 baseball, how many baseball polls are there?
Too many.
USC's number 8. Clemson's number 16, and that's it. And again, it's Miami number 1, Mississippi State 2, then Florida, Florida State, and Vanderbilt. North Carolina, who USC plays on Wednesday night, North Carolina is ranked anywhere from, I see them 15, I see them 13. What else? What else do we see here from North Carolina ranking-wise? That's pretty much it. Tar Heels are second in their division in the ACC at this point. Let's see here. They are coming off a weekend in which they took 2 of 3 from Virginia Tech. They're 8-7 in the league and 23-9 overall. They got hurt when they got swept by Miami, I think it was a couple of weekends ago. That kind of set them back a little bit. But North Carolina, recruited well, always has hard throwers, very good arms on their team. Yeah, Miami, which is number 1, swept them. I think that was in Chapel Hill too, 10-4, 7-3, and 7-4. This past weekend, they beat Virginia Tech 6-0, 4-1, and lost 4-3. So, looking forward to seeing the Gamecocks and the Tar Heels. A couple of other things to pass along. Brad Brownell is being mentioned by the Sporting News in its list of 9 candidates for the Memphis head coaching job.
You take those with a grain of salt. The Tennessean had, when they were doing the Vanderbilt potential candidates, they put Darren Horn down as one of them. So I will not read that newspaper for 6 months now.
Jim Harbaugh, the Michigan coach, he's going to be a hard one for the NCAA to deal with. He's going to give the commencement address at Paramus Catholic High School June 9th. And that's where they signed a big-time stud that Clemson was recruiting for the 2015 class or 2016 class.
Paramus, New Jersey?
Yeah, and there's 2 players on that team who were just at Clemson for the spring game that Clemson's heavily after that Michigan wants as well.
Push the envelope.
They're former coaches on Harbaugh's staff at the Michigan too. All right, that will do it. Have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow.